Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. If you could just drop in the box that you can hear us okay, drop in the comments, that'd be awesome. As you know, I'm joined by Matthew Wright this evening, the infamous, famous seven-figure seller that Natalie has recently interviewed on Secret Wealth Project. So I thought I'd grab him myself and just have another interview over here. How you doing, Matthew?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. We had a few technical issues just before the call.
Standard procedure, I think, for me, that.
So we're hoping it's going to be fine. But if it drops out, then just bear with us and we just bring it back slowly. Yeah. Natalie, can you hear us all right? Just drop us a comment. There we go. Sean says, boom. I think everyone can see us and hear us. Okay. So, yeah, Jed's here. Natalie's here. Sean's here. Awesome. Yeah, everyone's dropping in. So you jumped with me and Matthew were just talking behind the scenes, if you like, and he said that he was actually prepping in his business today because do you want to tell everyone about
Believe it or not, yeah, two of my warehouse lads phoned in sick today, so I actually had to do my own labelling, believe it or not.
Blimey, yeah. Well,
outrageous.
You've got to do it sometimes, haven't you? I remember back in the day, as I just mentioned to you, you know, when I had my landscaping business, I had to just get up at 7 in the morning, like 6:30 in the morning, get out in the rain if one of the guys was ill. But it's got to be done, hasn't it? It's got to be done.
Yeah, so you've got to do what you need to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, Jed says, hey, guys. Jed said, we can hear you. Kaz says, hi. Natalie says, yeah, we can hear fine. Awesome. Awesome. Looks like everyone is joining us fine. So, yeah, tonight, as usual, I've got some questions here for Matthew and then followed by some questions from you guys that you left in the comments. Right towards the end as well, just after halfway, if you want to start dropping some comments in as well yourself, any questions, then if we've got time at the end, I'll ask Matthew as well. How you doing, Ray? You're right. And hello, Facebook user that hasn't signed up to StreamYard. Hello. Awesome. Cool. So if we go with these questions, obviously, if some of them need longer answers, then we can, you know, we don't have to answer every single one. But yeah, let's get started. So basically, Matt, how did it all start? How did this whole journey begin?
So I was a university student. I was looking for a kind of a business I could do at university. So I started selling on Amazon. I started selling on eBay initially, and then I started selling on Amazon while I was at university. I've been on Amazon for about 10 years. So I actually joined Amazon before FBA, and I saw FBA, I think it was around 2011. It got launched about then in the UK. So I jumped on that because it worked for me at the time. I sold part-time for the first 2 years while I was at university, and then I took the business full-time in 2014. We've then grown it to 7 figures on Amazon, just on Amazon, plus eBay revenue and Shopify revenue. I've got 11 staff work for me in 2 warehouses, so it's grown quite exponentially since 2014.
Wow, that's crazy. How did you first hear about Amazon itself and eBay, obviously?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I don't know. I think everybody knew about eBay because I was selling for eBay for years, and I think most people who started Amazon businesses a few years ago initially started on eBay, and then they sort of transitioned over to Amazon, particularly with the FBA side of it. I honestly don't know how I stumbled upon it. I think I just found it one day and saw it as an opportunity. And the FBA I was actually invited to. So I actually was one of the first sellers invited to FBA. And I saw that and I thought, wow, this looks amazing. You know, you can have somebody pick, pack and store your goods for you. So you can spend all your time sourcing and not have to worry about all the back end side of it.
Yeah, looking back now, because obviously you started the so some of these just quite interesting because you started the FBA in its prime, no pun intended, because you started in its prime. Do you think you took full advantage of that, or if you look back now, would you think, you know, you missed out on, you know, being one of the first, if that makes sense?
No, I definitely took full advantage of it, and it was a lot. I'll be honest, it was a lot easier back then. There was a lot less. As it's grown, they've had to adapt and they've had to put different things in place. When I first started, it was literally a case of you put something in a box with a label on it, and that was it. There was none of the battery information you have to fill in, and to be honest, there was no gating and things like that. So Amazon has changed a lot since when I first started, but FBA is still a massive opportunity that it once was.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, awesome. So moving straight onto this, just basically, how did you do it? Like, how did you go from finding out what it was, testing the water, to obviously where you are now? And obviously take as long as you want on this.
So I've changed my business many times. I think that's one of the key things. I've been consistent in some key principles, such as the sourcing and things like that. But what I have done is I pivoted many times. So I started off selling secondhand goods. I actually started very first selling video games secondhand, and I started selling them on Prime. That was the first thing I sold. I then realized pretty quickly that RA and online arbitrage were really good models. And you could get a lot more product a lot more quickly, and that enabled me to scale. Because the problem with the secondhand stuff, although it was good margins and good sellers, I was only getting single units, and it took the same time to sort of list and prep and work one unit as it would take to, say, do 10 or 15 online orders that I could have delivered to my house. So that's how I started to scale it, was when I really discovered RA and OA. And we then basically took RA to a big scale, and I've systemized RA in terms of I now have maps and plans, and I get pre-warning of certain clearance sales, and then I'll go to my office, and I've got a big map on the wall, and I've got all the stores mapped out, and I'll like plan a route, and I'll then go on a bit of a road trip, usually if there's a big deal. Sometimes I just find a product and I essentially rinse and repeat. So I'll find the product in one store, and then I'll then just go and get it from every other store, either in the local area or further afield.
Wow.
So that's how I started the RA side of it. And we've also started, through that, we've moved into doing liquidation stock as well. So we do a lot of closing down sales and liquidation and store closures and clearances direct from manufacturers as well now. So we're moving up a gear in terms of moving up the chain, so as to speak, doing kind of distribution stuff now and a lot more wholesale stuff.
Yeah, wow, that's just absolutely crazy. So I still don't know how you went from. Did you? It just seems like such a short period of time to. Did you just progressively get into retail arbitrage? Have you tried every single other strategy or not? Have you just stuck with RA?
I just stuck with RA. Yeah, I mean, I started off essentially doing secondhand goods RA, but it was secondhand stuff, and I was buying off Facebook marketplaces and selling it on Amazon. And then I moved into the traditional RA model and the OA model. And then as the years have gone on, I mean, I've been doing this for really in its current form for 4 or 5 years. And then as it's gone on, we've systemized it, and we've expanded it, and we've refined it, and that's how we've scaled it, by putting in the systems and processes in place, and then gradually taking on more staff, and then we moved from this one warehouse to a bigger warehouse to 2 warehouses. So that's how it's grown. It's not happened overnight. You know, we've taken 5 years to do this, and 10 years in total from actually starting the business on Amazon. So it's the consistency and continually refining the process. I think one thing that's important is to know what not to do is what to do. So sometimes there is deals that don't work, and you just because they have there's margin in the item, it doesn't mean you should necessarily buy it. It doesn't fit in with what you sell. It doesn't fit in with what you know. It depends on what you're trying to achieve with it.
Yeah, because especially when you're starting out, it's kind of like it's so tempting just to take any deal, isn't it? You know, as long as it gets 25% ROI, it's just like, okay, let's have that. When it's probably not the best deal to actually have, could be overweight. It could only fit 5 in a box, but you're just going to do it, aren't you? Just because it's your first deal. And that's fine to get started, but it sounds like you've knuckled things down to like a real fine process, you know. So like, so you've got everything systemized in terms of like the best stores to go to, the best areas of the country to go to, etc. Because I don't know anyone else that has systemized RA I just don't know anyone else that's systemized it to the level that you have. Have you got 2 warehouses at different ends of the country, or is it just?
No, we've got 2 warehouses in the local town, but we have one warehouse which is tailored for Amazon and goods in, and then we have another warehouse which is tailored for eBay and Shopify. So they're laid out differently, and that's how they're optimized, because one warehouse has a lot of open space, which allows us to get pallets in, to get stock in, to sort it, and work it quite openly. The other one has got loads of racking, which allows us to store a lot of product for our eBay and our Shopify businesses. So it's just easier to have 2 warehouses that are laid out purposefully for what we need, rather than trying to have one space, then mixing and matching it.
Absolutely, yeah. So did you say you've got 2 vans?
Yeah, we've got 2 vans. Yeah, we also hire vans now and again.
Okay, and there's 2 of you, and just to understand, so since when you started to now, you've just been consistently seeking out the best places to get these retail arbitrage deals.
Yeah,
finding deals with shops, and then been driving around and just consistently finding the best deals for years.
Yeah, for years. But the thing is, I would say the key thing here is relationships as well. You've got to have relationships with staff in the stores, and that's how you'll be able to do this successfully. It's all about relationships, which I think is one of the main advantages of RA over OA. OA is, it's very convenient for starting out with. It's very easy to do because you can do your prep while you're doing your OA from your house or whatever, but you will never build up that relationship with a retailer if you're just doing OA, because it's just online and you're just a number or you're just an order. Whereas if you go into the stores, they recognize you, they'll then start talking to you, they'll then start offering you products. I mean, some stores aren't receptive to that, but the vast majority of stores, the managers are keen to sell product. So it's the relationships for me that I think is my most important asset I've built over the years, which is why I think I've been successful. It's because I've really been careful to nurture the relationships and grow the relationships, so it's beneficial for both parties.
Absolutely, yeah. Wow, that's absolutely incredible. Ray's just said it fits in quite nicely, actually, because obviously you said the last 5 years you've been doing this exact model, but you've been in it for 10 years. So what's the plan for the next 5 years? Is investing in property your end game? It's great you're so young with drive and big picture thinking. Your choices are amazing. So what would you say to Ray?
My next 5-year plan is we want to expand our Amazon into new markets. So we're looking to, I know a lot of people are pulling out of Europe. We're looking to do the opposite and go into Europe a lot heavier, because I think that's a unique opportunity for those who can do it. We'll be able to reap the rewards because there'll be a lot less competition. So we're looking to actually expand. Top tip there. If everyone's pulling out, there's an opportunity there. So we're looking to go bigger into Europe on Amazon. We are also looking to get into Amazon in the US and Amazon and potentially Australia as well. I was invited down to London recently to look at it was actually last year before all the COVID stuff, but we did they have like meetings with Amazon headquarters, and you can discuss new markets. So we actually had a meeting about Australia and the US there with some of the guys from Amazon. So we were looking to try and start Australia this year, but it's all kind of gone a bit on the back burner because of COVID.
Just on that point with Australia is a huge opportunity, right? And my cousin and my uncle, just going off a little bit, they are both in Australia. He's actually in this group, my cousin, and he wants to start selling in Amazon. And I've been speaking with him, and we can't seem to find any software for Amazon that works in Australia. So I don't know if you found it. Yeah,
I've not actually launched our Australian business because of COVID. We kind of put the back burner on it, but that is something we want to do in the next few years. I was actually surprised. You think Amazon is massive in the UK, but there's a lot of countries, particularly Australia, where it is only very new. Amazon is very new. I know they've only recently launched in the UAE a specific website, so that might be.
Oh, you've frozen a bit there, Matthew.
Oh, I'm back.
I think you're back, yeah. Can you... I almost said, can you speak?
I'm here, I'm good.
Say something.
I can speak.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, sorry about that. So the UAE market's one to potentially look at. So yeah, we're looking to expand our Amazon into new markets. We're also looking to expand our eBay again into new markets and continually expanding that. And then we're also getting big on our Shopify website as well. So that's one of our main goals for the next few years, is to grow our Shopify website.
Wow, incredible. I need to look into Shopify. I still haven't, because there's only so many things you can focus on, isn't there? But it definitely seems like a massive opportunity. Just shooting it back to the stores. So do some retail stores not mind you obviously reselling from them stores? A lot of them don't, obviously, if they're happy to build relationships.
Yeah, a lot of them don't mind. A lot of them do mind. So it depends, and it's not even company policy. Often it's manager by manager and manager's interpretation as well. So you'll learn which stores work and you'll learn which stores don't work. So the ones that don't work, don't waste your time. Just go somewhere else. Most companies have multiple stores. You just go to the ones that work, and that's part of you refining your system, is learning which stores are receptive to you and have the most stock in, and then the ones that don't work, then just leave them and move on.
Oh, awesome! I bet you get all your boxes from them as well, don't you? All their old boxes.
No, we buy boxes in nowadays. I did used to get loads of boxes out the back of supermarkets, but it takes up too much space in the van. You can't get as much stock in if you've got a load of boxes in.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's read a few comments here from the people that I can't faff around with the phone, so I'll just read who's on the StreamYard. So Natalie says evening. Sean says boom. Yeah, we've done all them. Salvatore says evening. Facebook user evening. Facebook user hey guys. Alison says hi. Facebook user Sean Flynn here says amazing. Sean Gilbert, how good is Shopify? Sean says. I feel really left out now. How good is Shopify, Matthew?
I think Shopify is very good. The thing about Shopify, there's lots of different platforms to build your own website on. The reason we chose Shopify principally was because it's the biggest and it has the most backend integration. That's the only reason we chose Shopify. There's loads of others. It's not the Shopify, it's the building your own platform, your own website. Shopify for us worked because it fit in with what we have, but you might find that something like maybe EKM, for example, they're a UK company. That might work better for you. Shopify, the thing is it can work really well. It depends what you're selling and how much work you're prepared to put into it, because it will be a lot more work, but then the rewards are a lot greater because you've got your own thing and you can sell anything you like on it, and it can grow as big as you want it to be.
And it's all social media advertising, isn't it, and things like that?
Ours is social. So basically, you've got to create your own traffic, which is the principal point here. How you do that, well, I guess depends on what you sell and who your customers are. For us and for most stores, I imagine it will be social media or Google ads, which is our big two traffic drivers. So we use Google Shopping ads, Google ads, and Facebook ads for us. We don't use any Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn. But if you were perhaps trying to target a business customer with your products, then maybe LinkedIn advertising would be better. We don't do YouTube, but again, I know a lot of businesses, like for example, Gymshark, they're a Shopify business. They built all their traffic off the back of YouTube and influencers. Gymshark's one of the biggest Shopify users.
Wow, that's incredible. I follow the guy I've forgotten his name, the guy that runs Shopify on Instagram.
Ben. Shopify, Ben Francis, nice
guy. He seems like a really cool guy. And obviously you just read Ray's comment there. Facebook user says there's so many acronyms to learn. I'm not sure. John says some companies get funny with me in stores, some I've built relationships. So it sounds like what you said, really.
Yeah, it is. It's 50-50. Some love you, some hate you. So it just know what works.
Yeah, Jed said a lot of sellers have already pulled out of EFN, whereas I'm holding out for a bit longer. My EU sales have literally tripled this last week. Wow, it sounds like everyone. Yeah, so it sounds like Jed's got it all, got the best of both. Everyone's pulled out. Is that what you've done, Matthew? Are you still in?
We're still in. Yeah, we're panning you though, so we're slightly different. We've already got all the VAT registrations in place, so we've moved up. We don't do EFN. We've got all our product in Europe already. So we're hoping that when everybody else drops out, we'll see a bit of an upturn in business. Yeah.
No, definitely. Yeah, it's a big opportunity. I can see it. Ray says, "Whoa, fantastic, very inspirational." Absolutely. Facebook user says the creator of Tactical Arbitrage is Australian, isn't he? Wouldn't be long, I would have thought. Yeah, so definitely. I mean, I tried with my uncle and cousin to get Keeper, tried to get like Buybot Pro. I tried to get loads of them and none of them were available, but I'm sure there's something. Cool. Kaz has got a question there, but I'll leave that to the end just because I'll get through the main questions first that I've got. Awesome. So that's great. So you've just explained how you sort of did it. It sounds like consistency, sticking to one strategy is how you've done it, and you've just systemized every single area. Is that correct?
I would say, yeah, refining. And I think the thing is, you've got to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. So for me, I was very good at product sourcing, so I do the product sourcing. I'm not very good at accountancy. I'm not very good at people management, although I am a company owner. I don't deal with disciplinaries very well and stuff like that. So I've basically got people in to fill in my skill gaps. Anything that I'm not good at, then I recognize that, and then I've tried to fill that gap. I think that's one of the hardest things to accept when you're an entrepreneur is to recognize what you're not good at and employ people who are better than you to do that for you, so you can focus on what you do excel at or what you enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, otherwise you just stay on your own forever, don't you? And it's so hard to let go. I honestly think it is really hard to let go, isn't it? Initially, and actually let someone take the reins. I've done it, and then I've come back, and then I've done it, and I've come back, and yeah, it's really hard to actually let go. I haven't got to the stage where I can let go completely. How hands off would you say you are? Like 97% or 90%?
No, I'm quite in the business every day, but I could quite easily leave it for 3 months and not worry about it. But yeah, I think in terms of what you're saying about employees, I think employee number one is the hardest, and everything is easier from there.
Someone that you can really trust, yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. Question number 3 I've got: what strategy or business should we all be doing, and why?
Oh, that's interesting.
Your experience.
I think that depends on what your goals are, because I think I said on my first interview with Natalie is that you've got to reverse engineer what you want to achieve. So if you want a very hands-off business, then Amazon is the way to go, because you can literally live that laptop lifestyle if that's what you're going for. If you want to build your own brand, then you need to get yourself on private label Amazon and Shopify and possibly eBay as well. I think that depends very much on what your goals are as to where you want to be with it.
Yeah. Okay. So reverse engineer your final outcome, basically, or for the next.
Yeah, definitely. And I do that with everything in my business. Every strategy is right. Where do we want to be? Right, we want to be here. So how do we get to that point from where we are now, rather than just sort of, following the journey? You've got to set your end point and work backwards and put the things in place that you need now. That was one of my big learning curves, is that putting the systems in place at the beginning will save you a lot of pain and a lot of time, especially as you scale going forward. So thinking about what you're going to need in 2 years' time, not what you need right now.
Okay. Really interesting. Yeah. Because sometimes it's not really feasible to do that, is it? When you're first obviously starting out, whether it's cash flow, whether you've just got to focus on maintaining the business. But so you're saying you think it definitely pays off to get them in pre-hand, and even if it costs a little bit more money on a monthly cost,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Just work out where you want to go, because it's often easier to do things immediately that make you cash and things, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to benefit you in the long term. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot, like you said about doing the deals, a lot of new sellers, they just take any deal, they take anything, they'll just take any market, and what that doesn't actually benefit them in the long term, because they don't gain any knowledge of any one market that they can then exploit. They simply just have lots of random products from lots of different markets, and it makes it very difficult to manage and grow.
Absolutely. Yeah. I completely see that. Yeah. 100%. Because sometimes you can just be, it's like a jack of all trades, isn't it? But a master of none.
Exactly.
That sounds very similar to this. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Question 4, we've got to touch on eBay a little bit, because you're sort of like within these Amazon community.
On eBay.
The Jedi of eBay at the moment. Is eBay becoming a bigger opportunity now? And what would your advice be around eBay? Do you think it's actually growing as an opportunity because people are reverting back to it, or?
I think it's definitely growing. eBay's definitely growing, and eBay doing some really good things. I think eBay a few years ago where Amazon are today, and everybody hated eBay. It had a bad reputation, and then everyone switched to Amazon. And I think what's happening now is a lot of people are getting very frustrated with Amazon. You know, the unfair suspensions, people having lots of issues, lots of gating, and they're now going back to eBay because they haven't got those issues. And eBay they've really got their act together because they realised they've lost ground against Amazon, and they've put a lot of big company software tools in place that weren't there at the beginning, which made it difficult to scale an eBay business. So it really is a lot easier to stand out on eBay and grow a business and start a successful business on eBay than perhaps Amazon, because you don't have those account restrictions. You don't have all the difficulties around, getting authorization, and they're holding your money and things like that. So potentially eBay could be a really big opportunity for most people.
Yeah. The Kaz Williams here, her and her boyfriend or husband, I'm not sure, they actually rent a unit next to the place that I've just moved out of. Lovely couple, and they're really hitting it hard with their eBay business, and they actually had their best day the other day. She won't mind me sharing. So yeah, I'm sure she'd love to. Obviously she's got a question here, but yeah, they're really hitting it hard, and I think they're going to do really well actually. But yeah, I mean, eBay for me, as you know, I used to sell on eBay, but I used to do drop shipping, and I actually got my account suspended. So yeah, but obviously it's really hard. I actually thought they gave me multiple chances. Like they gave me about 15, 20 chances before I got suspended. So in that respect, I think they're a lot more fairer than Amazon. As soon as they suspended me, obviously I was irritated because, I was doing big numbers, but I sort of thought to myself, fair enough. You know what I mean? Like I kept policy, like violation after violation. So I do definitely agree with you there. They're definitely much more, and the thing is, I actually built relationships with each one of the agents. I was on the program, what's it called?
The concierge service.
Concierge service. I was on the concierge, just like I'm sure you are, obviously. And I had relationships with all of the agents on the eBay concierge service. And it was quite sad when I went. And I'm sure you've built that as well. It's unlikely they're going to suspend you, isn't it? Because you've got a relationship with every one of them.
And if there's an issue that you can actually phone up somebody and there's a good chance they'll get it. Like a good example, we had a technical issue with trying to list in Europe. And I phoned up somebody and they said, oh, no problem, I'll transfer you through to America. And I spoke to the technical department who managed the eBay platform in America. And I was speaking to the actual people who do the tech. Now, can you ever possibly imagine getting through to somebody in Amazon who actually codes the website? No, you'd have to get through like a million layers of seller support, and it just doesn't happen. And that's what really frustrates me about Amazon. Is simple things take so long to get resolved. You have an ASIN issue where you can't list an ASIN, and you have to go round and round in circles with seller support for about 3 weeks while they don't understand your issue. Whereas eBay, I can't list this product, phone them up. Okay, we'll put you through to technical support. Oh, try this. Oh, sorted. Thanks very much. Do you know what I mean? So it is brilliant in that respect.
And it's like they call you back in they've called me back in 2 minutes before, 3 minutes. Yeah. I'm speaking to an agent that answers everything for me. So I envy the situation you're in where you're actually running a real business and you've got the concierge, because I had to sort of pretend that I wasn't drop shipping and it was just a nightmare. Anyway, I do have an eBay account now and we'll leave it at that. I found a way around. Awesome. Cool. Number 5, what is your best advice for someone else that wants to scale to 7 figures? What would you say is the best advice? What should they focus on?
Systemize.
Okay.
Simple as that. You've got to, if you want to scale, you've got to put processes in place that any and everybody can follow, and then you can duplicate and replicate and expand them. I think when you have a small business, you have a lot of assumed knowledge and you have a lot of knowledge in your head, and you as an entrepreneur are not like most people, and your knowledge and what you do automatically is not what other people do automatically. So if you want them to work in the way you want them to work in order to grow and scale your business, you need to get all this written down, processed and systemized. Once you've done that, you can then give any job to any person, and as long as they follow the process, you know that they'll complete the job satisfactorily, and that's how you have the confidence in your staff to let them go on. Because if you're a small individual, you probably are never going to have that trust unless you've got that process in place. And then, of course, if somebody isn't following the process, then that's where the disciplinary comes in, and you can get rid of them and get somebody else in who is suitable for the job. So it would be to systemize and systemize everything, because you can systemize everything from how to label a box to how to list a product, where you buy stuff, what don't you buy, all those sort of things. Sorry, I've just seen Matt Webley's comment.
Oh, right, yeah, he's threw me right off. At the end of it as well. Cheers, Matt, Mr. Webley. Matt, noticed that I did my interview at 6 p.m. rather than 7, just for you and Secret Tribe. So, yeah, very nice. Thank you, Matt. Anyway, very nice. Awesome. So, yeah, Matt's thrown me off as well. Where were we? Right. So, you have got a system for every single job role in the business, and then you just, if someone leaves, or if someone you need to put disciplinary action, then you just take them, and then obviously this sounds robotic, but it's not, and then you'll plonk them in that job role, give them the documents, give them pre-recorded videos, and they can just learn the job role like that, rather than
It sounds very inhumane. It's not as inhumane as it sounds.
I made it.
What you don't realize is that by giving them this document, this process, it actually enables them to do their job better, because you might tell somebody something and then they go, yeah, I've got that, I understand. And then they don't understand it. And then you're coming down on them like a ton of bricks saying, why have you not done this correctly? Whereas if they've got the process, they can just refer back to the process and they can learn the job. And you don't do the staff any favors by going, do this, thanks, see you later, and then expecting them to be able to do it.
Oh, got it. Yeah, because I've had a few VAs, and I don't have a VA at the moment. I've had a few. I've sort of systemized it within myself. I need to get some VAs, and to be honest, that's where the issues lie with me. I didn't have the correct systems, and I'll be honest, it was systemized, and I had processes for them to follow, but it was definitely not. It was definitely not where it should be. Matt's just said sops with loads of love heart. So Matt's a sop. He's got loads of hearts. I like it because he's with the red theme on my channel, and he did that on purpose. Yeah. So awesome. Great. So that's all the questions that I've got. And now what we're going to do is just check out the comments and then check out the questions that were originally in the group, if that's okay with you, Matt.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. So number one, I haven't got the names of whoever left these, but they know who they are. So number one is what ROI roughly do you look for in your business, retail arbitrage?
Usually 50%. We're usually looking at 50%. Yeah. And the thing about ROI, which I always like to elaborate on, is that even having a good ROI doesn't mean you've got a profitable product, because a lot of the new sellers, they tend to source products that are very low value. And I've noticed a few people in the comments in different groups saying about how they're struggling with prep center fees and all the different fees. If you might have an amazing ROI product, but if the product's only selling for $5.99 and your prep fee is £1, that is taking a huge percentage of your sale price.
Yeah,
you're going to make more money selling products for £100 and making £15-20 on them than you are ever going to make selling $5.99 products when you've got, a huge ROI, but there's very little actual profit there.
Oh, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, it's your ROI doesn't matter, does it? If there's not enough profit, and it completely makes sense.
I think people get really hung up on ROIs through the deal sourcing software, and they actually forget about the actual profit, the numbers. If your rent's £1,000 a month, then that's £1,000, and selling something for £500 and making £100 is going to contribute a lot more to your bottom line and paying your bills than ever is selling something for £1 to $5.99 and making 25p by the time all your fees are paid.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay. What's the best way to get your listings up? It's a bit of a pain. Oh, sorry, eBay.
It's eBay,
what's the best and most Yeah, eBay. What's the best and quickest and most efficient way to get your listings active? They said that it's painful. It's a bit of a painful process, and I know
It,
what they mean because I feel that.
it is very painful, but that comes down to your sourcing. For example, we have minimum value listings because in order to be successful on eBay, you have to put the work into your listing to get it to be successful. And
Okay.
it takes the same amount of time to list one product as it does to list 10,000 products. Because once you've got that listing live, you can just, all you have to do is change the quantity box, and you can keep replenishing, you can keep reselling products. So it's about sourcing the right products that have the right returns, not just about the listing process, because you can get software that will help you, but it will still be painful. And it won't. The only way is to create good quality listings that will attract customers. That will take time. I mean, our average listing takes about 30 minutes.
Wow.
But it does because of all the pictures. Because we edit all the pictures, we take all the pictures, we do all the descriptions, we do all the keywords. It takes a long time, but we will only list something on eBay if it's got minimum £100 in it. So that's how it works.
Wow. So you work on really big profit. That's not per item, is it? That's for
No, like as a listing value, it has to have £100 in. So we could have 10 items at £10, or we could have one £100 item, but that would be the minimum we would work off. So we would usually list things on eBay that have, say say £2,000 to £3,000 worth of resale value as a listing, and that's where the time is worth it.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay, awesome. Do you run all of your business? Someone else said, do you run all of your business separately? Are they separate entities, or are they one big entity? That was the first question.
I actually run them as two businesses. So I have the two warehouses as run as two businesses. So
okay, right, and that's Shopify, eBay, Amazon. Are they all just?
It actually comes down to the logistics and storage are run as a different business to the selling online. It's a little bit complicated. It's to do with company structures rather than how we actually run the business. So the business is run under one brand. The website, the Amazon, and the eBay are all under the same brand, but within that we have different company structures for the different platforms.
Okay, awesome. What sort of accounting software do you use? This is another question. Do you use it?
We currently use QuickBooks, but I'm quickly outgrowing that. So I am trying to find a solution for that. So we're currently doing everything on Excel spreadsheets and through QuickBooks. But the problem with platforms is they're very rigid, and like Amazon and eBay give you data in different ways, and it's very difficult to find one system that will take the different types of data and be able to sort of dump it all in, and it'll all format correctly. So we're using CSV at the moment with QuickBooks, and I've got somebody who does that full time, who manages all the data for that and puts all the invoices on. We would like to try and create a system, but I think we're probably going to have to either a fully customized or semi-customized system that's going to possibly cost a bit of money down the line, but we are getting to that point.
Okay, awesome. Number four, actually, this is the last question from the group. Yes, it's a similar question. Should you set up eBay as a separate business if someone wants to do that, but they're already doing Amazon?
It doesn't make any difference. That just depends more on your company structure and your ownership structure. Personally, I would advise not to, because unless there's a reason to split it, you're just going to create more paperwork burden. You're going to have to file two sets of accounts. You're going to have to do two sets of VAT returns, assuming the VAT registered, because you can't. A lot of people try and think you can get around the VAT registration by having two companies, and that is actually illegal. So you can't skip the VAT registration. You have to file two lots of VAT returns, two lots of accounts, and it's just extra paperwork. And unless there's a reason, there's no benefit to it.
Okay, awesome. That's interesting. I've learned from that. Awesome. So let's have a look again at the just at the comments here. So we'll go back to the questions as well, and then we'll do comments. So I think it was Kaz that we're up to. Where is Kaz? So yeah, Kaz says, question for later. Now, are there deal sheets, data websites, etc. for eBay, or do you just use the ones for Amazon? So like, I think she means software, etc. Because I actually told her and her partner about software I use for Amazon, and I thought that it might be able to be used sort of with eBay. You could get an idea. So
Yeah, I don't see any reason why you couldn't use the software. I actually don't use any software. I use
okay.
Buybot Pro obviously for pricing, but I don't use any actual software. All my sourcing is done manually by myself.
Wow.
Interestingly enough, yeah.
Okay. So you don't know of any deal sheets or data websites for it?
I don't have any. I don't have any deal sheets now.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because you said that you obviously did what the other eBay sellers do, which is look at all the sold listings. So I've done that before.
Yeah, the best way to price. There's the beauty of eBay is you can see what things actually sold for. So you can go on to. You can use the advanced search. You can click. You can find an item and you can see exactly pound and pence what the item sold for. Keeper gives you an idea, but it doesn't distinguish between a sale and something being removed from sale. It just tells you what that product was listed at. So you can kind of get an idea, but you can't get exact data as if what they're actually sold for.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Salvatore says, how do you approach staff in stores? Do you wait for them to approach you first to ask why you're buying so much and then say you're a reseller?
It's a very different. It's difficult to answer. It depends on a store by store basis. So sometimes I'll go up to the desk and ask for them to speak to the manager and say, look, I'm a reseller. I'm interested in all your clearance products. What have you got? Da da da. And then the managers are very keen and they'll show you where the products are and they might say, oh, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. A lot of the stores I work with, I've got to the point where they now know me and they know me by name and the manager just comes over as soon as I walk in. Some stores, though, I would say, especially supermarkets, I tend to just hit and run. I tend to get in, scan it on self-scan and just get out because it's not worth them either. Yeah. Because the supermarkets are a bit more structured than some of the other retail stores. Yeah. So supermarkets is a sort of grab and run job and hit the next one. Whereas some of the other stores I do work with quite closely.
I just pictured you with your mask and your cap.
Yeah, literally masked at the moment now, yeah.
That lifting the clearance shelf up and just putting it in the back of the bag.
yeah, get the self-scan, boom, rattle off. Yeah, next one.
Oh, that is funny. Awesome. So, 15 to, this is Facebook user, I can't see who it is. 15 to 20 chances. Amazon, you don't even get a warning. No, sometimes you don't, do you? So I think that was relating to me and my warnings on eBay before they banned me. Yeah.
The difference with eBay is their business is sellers, whereas Amazon, which is I've always found a bit awkward with Amazon, is their conflict of business because they sell and they allow you to sell. So Amazon, in my opinion, is they're like, oh well, we're granting you this permission, so you should be grateful that we are allowing you to sell in our business, regardless of the fact you're paying us loads of fees. You should be grateful. Whereas it's very much you are our customer, and we will look after you because you are our customer. And only when you really have ballsed it up will they say we don't want you on the platform anymore.
Definitely, yeah. There's actually a court case against Jeff at the moment. I can't remember which one it is or where it is. I know it's in America, sorry, and it's because they're not happy that he owns the monopoly. You know, he sells on it. He is it. It's just they just said he's got too much power, which was quite interesting. What an achievement! But yeah, that makes sense with eBay, doesn't it? Yeah, two of the most handsome guys in the game. Before I just repeat that. Facebook, hey guys, smiley face. Matt Webley, love hearts. Matt said socks. Sean says, my VA deleted hundreds of inactive listings today to tidy up the health account. Last time she leaves 200 recent added listings. She deleted the lot and got loads going to FBA. Okay, interesting.
Oops. Although it that does help your IPI score, I believe, doesn't it? If you delete inactive listings. So I'm guessing that's why you've done that.
Each week. I used to delete them. I used to delete them every day to lessen the risk of IP violations. All listings that are replenishing. So that is definitely a good tip. I definitely should do that every day. But obviously you don't end up getting around to it when you've got hundreds of SKUs anymore. It was sort of when I had 15, I was like, yeah, I could do this.
It does become a bit of a. Again, that's where it comes down to not sourcing too much as well, because it's much more difficult to manage, isn't it? And if you keep your lines clean, keep it nice and tidy, then sourcing fewer products with higher margins, then it's a lot easier to manage.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Sean says, does Matt not have any VAs? So do you have VAs or just?
I don't have any VAs at the moment. I'm in the process of recruiting a few, but that's
Okay.
not to run my current business. That's more to do with my social media and things going forward. So I'm looking at getting some VAs, but then I've got actual staff, so I don't really need VAs. If I was going back in time, I would definitely have VAs because I can definitely see the benefit for the cost. So I would go back if I went back and did it again. I would get some VAs in to help with some of the back end stuff and. Like you say, doing listing tidies up, all the really mundane things that need to be done that you never actually get around to doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, Matt put love hearts again. Loads of laughing things. And then he says, "Buy but pro, baby." Sean says she did too many competition with toys, so I asked her to tidy up account. She forgot to leave 200 recent listings. Oh, that's not good. Awesome. So that's all the questions. That's everything there. I think we'll leave it there. I've just got one more question for you, Matt. I'm going to leave it there because in sort of respect for Matt, he's starting Secret Tribes soon, so everyone's going to sort of want to go to that. One more question. So if someone's struggling right now, and they're thinking about maybe giving up, chucking in the towel, maybe sales aren't there, things just don't seem to be working, questioning whether this is even a long-term viable business, what would you say to them? What is the best piece of advice that you could say?
Would be to focus. Most people I've ever spoken to that are struggling is because they're trying to do a million different things and their head's all over the place. So they're probably the reason they're struggling is because they're doing one thing one day. So maybe they're sourcing toys today, and then they're doing beauty tomorrow, and then they're doing grocery the next, and they're all over the place, and they've never got any consistency. They're never tweaking anything. They're just all over the place. What I would definitely suggest is that people focus on one category, grow it, learn about it, streamline it, and then expand into a new category, and be patient and be consistent. My business took me 10 years to build. It didn't happen in 2 weeks. I know there's a lot of people in the Amazon space because people do genuinely grow Amazon business. You're a great example. I mean, how long have you been selling? Not very long.
Was 11 months. Live? 11 months.
11 months. And yet you've grown your business massively in 11 months.
Just going back registered, yeah.
Yeah. So that's fantastic. But it does take time and it takes consistency. And it won't happen overnight. So I would definitely say to focus on one area, be consistent with it, learn it, refine it, and then move on to something else. Wow,
fantastic. That's I've learned a lot of lessons from that, so that's great. Thank you so much, Matthew. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We will call that a night there, and hopefully may speak again in the future on some sort of video. So thanks everyone, and I'll speak to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you.